through the gray, from the shadows to the screen. They decode what the silence means. Click subscribe, let the veil be torn. This is the news we've been waiting for. Turning away, global watchmen leading the way. Every story, every thread, for the living and the misled. Raise your voice, let the signal soar. This is the news we've been waiting for.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. You're in the live chat. We do ask you to keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that you stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. All right, guys. So we've got Howard NEMA with me from howardnema.com. And do you still have Truth Talk?
Well, it's up there. It's Truth Talk News that is on YouTube. Yeah, it's an old one. I don't have anything live right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys can go over and check out some of his old videos on Truth Talk News here on YouTube. But every time something happens, like a significance or whatever, you know, and we'll post something back and forth, and Howard and I will just be like, we've got to do something. We've got to go live to talk about this, because so was it yesterday? We were talking about something we posted. You posted about Trump,
About the military,
guys. Is anybody else? Yeah. So, and I did a show on Sunday talking about the military, how the new NDAA is and Congress did pass it through, I believe. They want to combine military forces with us and Israel. Howard, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, well, actually, it sort of makes it a little more, I guess, out in the open that Israel has stolen so much of our technology, and they listen to everything, and they've been doing so many things covertly to just put it out in the open. Now, they said, well, why don't you might as well just join the military, because you've got all of our secrets and stole our yellow cake and created your nuclear weapons and got caught over and over again and stealing our secrets, and Pollard and all these other cases and going back to the 60s. But again, I really feel, again, from my research, that we're really dealing with one entity here. That's the Roundtable Group, you know, the Anglo-American Roundtable Group. And that's really where all this stems from. That's the UN, the Bilderbergs, the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, and a lot of the other NGOs that are all just the Catholic Church, you know, the Vatican, the Jesuits. I mean, these are all like forces that are aligned, even though they don't seem to be, especially with Israel. I mean, if it wasn't for the British intelligence and CIA, there would be no Israel.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people don't.
We've got a video of Rothschild admitting it, that the Rothschild family was the one that created Israel.
Absolutely. And it's a very deep rabbit hole when you get to talking about it, because, you know, I sent you a little thing the other day about like the 3 world wars and how they've tried so desperately to say, well, there was Nazism and Israel and Zionism didn't exist in 1871, but it did.
Oh yeah.
And people don't really understand that, because the way it existed is through Freemasonry and through the mystery schools. When they're talking about these things, in fact, Nazi is the way that it came out. It was actually, believe it or not, like it was in the 1800s where they came up with that, and it's really in German, in Bavaria, it means like hillbilly, or you know, it's a phrase, it's a derogatory phrase. And knowing how the elite, especially these mystery schools, they think they're so intelligent and they're going to become gods because of their intelligence and worshiping knowledge, that they really do look down on everyone, including anybody that's below them, anyone. I mean, so it's almost laughable when they're using a term like country bumpkin, or, you know, that's what it really means, sort of like a hillbilly, or like, you know, like a redneck, in Bavarian. And that was in the early 1800s. So this is same thing with the Nazis. Excuse me, same thing with Zionism, because people don't realize that the Zionist movement really goes back to 1840. It was the proto-Zionist movement, and Moses Hess and how all of these things have really moved forward. And it's a collaboration of American companies, American banks that created Israel. And did you know, and people probably are aware, or maybe they're not, that um, Israel, well, what we know is Israel made a deal. Well, excuse me, not well, it's not Israel, but the Zionists made a deal with Hitler so
Mm-hmm.
that elite, all the elite people in Germany, all the wealthy people in Germany could pay their way out and get
All the
out.
wealthy Jews. All the wealthy Jews could pay their way out.
Right, the Havara Agreement. And when you really do a deep dive into that, you discover that American banks as well were involved in building up Israel, not before it was Israel, like long before, in the 20s and 30s, this was happening. So it's like, again, the secret societies are really, in my research, the secret societies are the key to this whole thing, namely Freemasonry. One of the reasons we have all of these, this thing with the third temple, it all goes back to Freemasonry, and that's really a big component of the whole thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting. You had mentioned Bavaria and how there's a really rich history when it comes to Bavaria, because people, modern day, the modern day Illuminati was founded in Bavaria, in
Ingolstadt.
right, yeah, and so I mean, it's all tied in. The British promised so many. British promised different things to different people during the time they were creating Israel. And, they promised the Palestinians one thing, they promised the Jews another thing. And I don't think they really cared when they put those people together, whether they were going to kill each other or not. It was just, they just wanted to accomplish that, the creation. So Zionism would take hold, because the foundation of Zionism is fighting that Israel has a right to exist. So once they got the hold of the Zionism in there, well, I mean, and then the anti-Semitism label came out during that time, and it's all tied in. And it's funny because I think it's all accumulating right now. I think we're hitting like the peak of it right now, because now we've come up. It's like we've been climbing the mountain, and we're at the peak of the mountain. And right now they don't want us to go, anywheres but down, because they're going to start hitting people for speaking out against the Jews, for speaking anti-Semitic, anything anti-Semitic. You can't even tell them you got something on your face, that's anti-Semitic, So I think, I think that a lot of people don't understand that this has been going. The destruction of America has been planned since the beginning.
Yeah, I think it was planned to be built up and to then be brought down. I think there's very clear evidence of that. If you look through the fact that there's so many, between the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians and the wars and all of the similarities of these mass exoduses of people, or these. It seems to be a pattern where, some area will be destroyed and decimated, and it'll create all of these refugees to continue to flow into different countries to cause a clash of civilizations, because it's just normal. People like when they talk about America being the melting pot, but really, if you wanted to come here and you wanted to assimilate like it was 120 years ago, 150 years ago, people really wanted to be Americans. They wanted to learn English. They wanted to assimilate and be part of this country, where most countries that's just not true anymore. for sure. And now they're making us doing the same thing with us with this UN replacement migration thing that's been going on. It's really bad in Europe. I mean, it's just incredible in Europe what's going on. And again, they're using the Muslim invasions. This is all ancient stuff. It's nothing new. They don't really do anything new, Lori. They just seem to.
They recycle everything.
They just recycle everything. They change the names, and
it goes in cycles. They follow the same cycle over and over and over again. So you had mentioned the Islam part of it, the Muslim part of it. It's interesting that in Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini, now I never knew that people called it. People say it doesn't even exist. But it was in the museum for quite a long time, a number of years, and then it was moved. But when it was moved, it was lost, quote unquote, lost. Right. So now people say it never existed, but it did. But in his letter to, to Mazzini, he actually lays out a blueprint for 3 world wars. The first one, it says, and this is exactly what he says. I'll read it here. It says, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and to make that country a fortress for ascetic communism. The divergence caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and the Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy other governments in order to weaken the religions. And that's exactly what we saw, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then it goes even further in the Second World War. After I'm talking about that same from the wordings of the First World War. When we emerged from the Second World War, there was this whole changing with the World Council of Churches that came out and started in 1937. So like everything has been planned. Everybody out there. I mean, nothing is organic. Nothing. No. I mean, at all.
Let me read the second one here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm.
Right. Right.
And then, and then I'll just read this. And then the Third World War, which is something that we're seeing build up now. So when I read this, guys, just think about the things that are going on in the world. It says the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leader of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other.
Right. And then it goes on about the nihilists and the atheists, and then we see that, I mean, that's just what we have in America. It's really more noticeable than most places. They're going to have a social cataclysm where the nations are going to be basically exhausted from bloody savagery and turmoil and revolutions, and coming out of that, Christianity will be destroyed. And that's really where this is heading. As you can see, there's a tremendous war against Christianity as well. So, you know, the disillusioned people, quote unquote. So they're not going to have any direction. Everyone's moving away from God. Although there is praise Jesus, there's definitely a revival happening spiritually, but there really is. But we can see that their plan is like, look at this. They're just absolutely. I go to Europe again. I was watching some videos of unbelievable. This guy was stabbed. A Christian white guy was stabbed in London or in somewhere in England, and the police, instead of arresting the guy that stabbed him,
Oh,
they tie this guy up and let him die.
and laughed at him.
Yeah, it's
Did you see?
unbelievable.
I just saw that today. It was over on TikTok. They show his hand was as white as a wall, like the wall behind you. It was that white. So they get there, and I guess it had something to do. It was supposedly a racially induced attack or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the police get there and they handcuff this guy who told them, I've been stabbed 5 times. They laughed at him, handcuffed him, and you could see you could see his hand there's no blood circulation into his outer extremities. He's completely bleeding out right there, and they did nothing for that man.
They let him die.
They let him die. Yeah. I just
it's
saw
very
that.
it's very wicked. I mean, just this it's everyone's become sociopathic. It's just I really feel this to be more like a spiritual thing, like a demonic, assault on morality that is spiritual. It's not just brainwashing and media and all of this other stuff. I mean, there's a component here that can't be ignored. Especially when you look at just the way people can just be so cruel. Now, we saw this in the Nazis too, in the Second World War. We've seen this in all the ages of totalitarianism, where the dehumanization of people, and that's exactly what the Israelis are doing now with the Palestinians. They look at them as animals, subhumans. And I find it so ironic that they're calling people subhumans, like the Palestinians, and that's what the Nazis called the Jews.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then when you really look into it, again, back to these secret societies, the different cults, the Thule Society is known as the Brotherhood of Death, just as well as the, all of these other secret societies that come out of Bavaria. Interestingly enough, isn't it interesting how they're all,
right.
The Skull and Bones
exactly.
is a Bavarian secret society. The Illuminati is a secret society from the same area, but the Brotherhood of Death, it is that's what it is. I think we're dealing with a death culture. You could see all the movies, the horror movies, everything's just death, 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 death. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I think that, and again, all by design. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by coincidence. It's all, planned. This is something that I believe. I believe it's planned out in the spiritual realm through the entities. That's why we see when events happen, how, they quote unquote have the Illuminati handprint on them, or their signature on it, because I believe that it's planned out in the spiritual world, and then it's carried out in the physical world. So I think that because the Bible tells us we're dealing with entities that are far more advanced than we are, I guess.
Well, they are, and that's what it is. It's definitely spiritual oppression or demonic oppression. I mean, not everybody's possessed. I mean, everyone thinks about possession and they sort of laugh it off, but it really does happen, not as frequently as oppression, but oppression is constant. I mean, we are constantly under demonic oppression, and you can feel it, especially when we look at the world and you say to yourself, how people like us can see through this where others can't. There's a spell. It's like people are under a spell, and then
absolutely, I said that. Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because I said that about Trump. I completely said that about the Q people. I said, these people are under some kind of spell. It was the only logical explanation for it.
Yeah, it's funny. They call people cults, and they're in the cult, and they're talking about other people being in a cult. It's just very, very bizarre to me. And the fact that it's so tribal and it's so, like sports like. It's like, the Democrats and Republicans, they're like sports teams now. And if you're a Democrat fan, you've got to support your team. And if you're a Republican fan, you've got to support your team, even if they do things that are wrong, like start wars and stuff like that, and be manipulated. And it's just overwhelmingly obvious to me, at least, that these are things that have been cast upon us. Like, they remember broadcasting, television broadcasting, casting a spell. I mean, programming. I mean, it's all right. It's all right there in your face. The evil is hidden in plain sight. And we have been, we believe in aliens, and and all these things that they are setting up right now, that are just deceptions. I mean, they started talking about aliens in 1917. The Carnegie Endowment was writing about this, the Japanese mission, and it's in a statement there. And then Reagan talked about it, and all of these other. Every once in a while, an official will come out and say something about how we can bring humanity together by this alien thing. And now they're trying that, and they're trying
an outside force. Think of how quickly the world will come together if an outside force, of an alien race, were to,
right.
And I don't. What do I say? I do not think that humanity could, at this point, come together. I really don't.
No, they did a very good job of really is true. I mean, even Christians, I mean, there's so much division and so much deception, with all the different movements that they have. And Christian Zionism is a perfect example, which is the greatest deception of all. The whole concept, the Jewish people are being punished because they're not supposed to bring about a country by force and by doing evil things and that's what they do. But then they say because evil was done to them through the Holocaust, that they are justified. So, I mean, if you can't read through the lines there, I don't know. I mean, it's written in the Bible. It's in the Bible. That's the reason why, they've been in 586 BC and 70 AD are two examples. The Babylonian, when they were cast out, and when they're cast out again. So they have sinned against God, and they continue to sin against God.
Right.
And they don't accept Jesus.
Right.
And, there's your deception already right there. I mean, they just from the very beginning, where you have every nation, major peoples have talked about it from the East, about Jesus. I mean, it was like, it's not just in one area. I mean, it's not just in Jerusalem,
No, look at Ethiopia. I mean, people do not realize that Ethiopia was Christian right from the start.
Yeah. It's strange. It's just that, we're in some very, very, very trying times, and the deception level is off the charts. I mean, we've never been closer to nuclear war. We have maniacs, really, just maniac. I mean, Netanyahu is a maniac. I mean, that's the only word I can use for him.
Yeah, the patients are definitely in charge of the insane asylum at this point.
And we know that they steal elections. They're caught stealing elections. Epstein, nobody goes to prison. I mean, everybody who's paying attention, that's what I don't understand. What I don't understand is, like, if we were all, for lack of a better word, more united in the truth community, even the truth community is not united.
No.
And I
not
think that's
like it used to be.
No, they managed to throw all these other spirals in there, all these different, like deceptions and different distractions, like flat earth and aliens. I mean, come on, You know, they're
Yeah.
demons. They're interdimensional demons. They're not aliens.
Right. Well, when I took over the Exposing Satanic World Government page uh, back in February of 2014, I think it was. That was when you were allowed to have, controversial pages and uh, conspiracy pages. Um, and that's when, I don't even know, 250,000 people. I don't even know. Um, but all the big pages, like the Wake Up News, and I can't remember them now, but there was probably like 7 of us that were like the top tier um, pages on social media. We all were in group chat together. I mean, literally, there was like the page owners, which would be myself and 5 or 6 other of them. And then we're on YouTube. You had White Rabbit. You had um, Nicholson 1968. You had uh, David Bass around Saturn's Eye. I mean, you had all of these big Enter the Stars. You had all these big names over there. We were all friends,
Right.
and we were in group chats together. We talked together. We did research together. We did all these things, and then all of a sudden, it was like the flat Earth came on the scene and split us all apart.
It does seem like that all of a sudden. Again, that's what you have to everybody out there listening. When these things emerge, they just emerge, and they weren't there, and then they're there, and then they're pushed, and it's just like there are so many things that are wrong, and they want us to focus on stuff that doesn't even make a difference. Even if the world was flat, how is that going to stop all the data centers and the New World Order coming down hard on us? It's not.
Whether it's a cube, whether it's round, or whether it's flat, the same thing is going to happen. The same attempted enslavement of the entire human race is that's their plan, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It doesn't matter.
They write books about it. I mean, many books. I mean, they put it in the UN documents that by 2045 we're not going to be human.
Right.
Come on.
It started out with 5G and the Internet of Things, and then you had they wanted to start with the 15-minute cities. So we had that push, and now you've got Palantir, who I'm sorry, but that man is straight up evil. He doesn't even live in the United States. He left the United States. He doesn't even live here anymore.
Right.
But and then now you got to get the data centers. Those data centers, they are for nothing good. Nothing. Let's say they're not beneficial for humans. Put it that way.
Not at all. Look, the absurdity is off the charts. That's why I don't quite understand how people can't see the absurdity. There's something. It's a spell. It really is. It's a spell because you have all these people. They're still now. You got them out in the streets again. It's June. You see these people in the stores, people that work in the stores wearing face masks in a grocery store.
Yeah.
And people in the streets wearing face masks. And it's just, my God, what the hell happened? It's beyond understanding without it being something that is. It's possible that it has to do not just the fact that we're believers, but I really do believe that, that we see through we see the truth.
Yeah.
We see the truth because of our faith in God and Jesus. And people that don't are really lost. And we got a lot of people that just don't believe in God, don't see miracles in their life when they happen.
Mm-hmm.
They don't recognize the spiritual connection that we all are supposed to have, but we really don't anymore. Everybody's on their phones, their faces in their phones. They're watching, really bad content on television, destructive content, violence, and
we're not feeding their brains the proper nutrients that it needs to thrive. And that's what That's what our phones are doing. Our phones are essentially, they're poisonous, and they're poisoning our minds. And you know what? It started back with the whole destruction of the nuclear family, back with the feminist movement, back when, you know, they started with the latchkey kids. They started
Yeah.
with, they took over the education system for our children. All of that was designed to whittle down the spirituality of people.
I think you're 100% right, and you can really even pinpoint it. The CIA was created specific, and the NSA were created specifically to bring about all of these changes in our society and to control. Now, what came out with Epstein is that's a big revelation.
Ugh.
It really is, about who these people are, what they're doing, and everything else, and how they operate. Yet, and I mean, I've been on it all the time. I'm constantly trying, to try to get these people to, this is, nobody ever goes to prison except average people.
And if somebody does go to, I happen to believe that Ghislaine Maxwell's not in prison. Those people, they don't. How do we know that they're in prison? We don't know.
I don't think so. I watched a video of allegedly it was Ghislaine Maxwell talking, and it doesn't even look like her.
Yeah.
From prison.
Well,
and
look at when Epstein was in jail.
Right.
They let him. They literally unlocked his cell at 8 o'clock in the morning. He left the jail.
Yeah.
Went to his office or did what, and then came. And supposedly, I think they opened up the door. People watched him walk back in, and I think he walked out the back door and went home.
It's very possible that's, again, we don't know. Everything is a lie. That much we can be sure of.
Yeah.
And I think that we've been look, what did they say? 80% of the population took the shots, the deadly shots.
Yeah.
So now we know that the graphene oxide in these shots, when there's integrated with 6G, which might even be out there already. They just didn't say it because it could even be 6G right now.
Yeah.
It could explain, it's a combination of the geoengineering, the poisoning of the food, the vaccines that are now in the food, the vaccines that everyone took, a bombardment of ourselves with all of these things in our atmosphere and in our ecosphere, our just the ecosystem of the earth. There's no bugs anymore. I live in the woods. I live in Connecticut in the woods. And when I moved up here in 2005, there were so many bugs. I couldn't believe it. You would drive down the road and, in 2 miles, you'd have bugs all over your windshield, all over the car itself, the bumpers. You'd have to clean them off, there's no bugs. And once in a while, I used to see butterflies everywhere. You hardly see butterflies. I used to see bees everywhere. You hardly see bees. They are literally destroying our planet because they are silicon. They're going for this silicon thing, and they're behind schedule. So that's why everything's been rushed. Everything has really been rushed because by 2030, they want to have these data centers up. That's why they're building them like crazy. Mm-hmm. They want to have all of these technologies in place. And then, we have, real concerns about these bioweapons that are not necessarily injections, but they're like, it's almost like it's in the air. It's like something like right out of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. People are in a trance. They really are in a trance. You could see it when you're driving on the road.
I think it's a lot. I think they're doing something with frequencies with the 5G. There's something they're doing something.
They're doing something with frequencies. I know that I've been lately having issues with sleep, that I've had in the past, but everybody has their 5G on their phone. They have it on the Wi-Fi, and They are definitely affecting us. You can tell. I mean, energy levels are people's energy levels are generally less. I mean, I know I'm getting older, but I can feel
Right.
different things that I didn't feel just a couple of years ago, even cognitively. I mean, and you say to yourself, well, listen, it's just, oh, you're getting older, you're going to be 60 years old, but I don't
Oh
think
God, don't even remind me. Oh my Lord.
I don't think it's that at all, though, Lori. I think we're being hit with all
Look,
sorts of things.
when I was 55, okay, we're the same age. When I was 55, I was saying, you know what? I feel 30.
Yeah,
Now I'm 59. I'm going to be 68 next month, and I feel like I'm 75.
I have days like I quit smoking and for like several, I mean, literally several weeks after that, you would think that your breathing would get better.
Mm-hmm.
It actually got worse, and I felt like a 90-year-old man. I couldn't get across the room. So weird things are happening that you can't really. It should be the opposite. You should have more energy. I stopped drinking coffee. I started drinking mushroom, coffees, that have it gives you a little bit better blood flow and things of that nature. I'm taking supplements that are supposed to help, but I can be honest. I don't feel. I feel like there's something
Off. Something
off.
off.
That's the right word to use.
Off.
Something's off, and I know I'm not alone with this.
No, you're not.
And it's not just because I'm 59.
No.
You know, it's there's something happening, and I don't know. I'm sure people out there feel the same way, and they're younger than we are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lethargy, for lack of a better word,
Mm-hmm.
that is existing, and a feeling of learned helplessness among the people that you talk to. I mean, I talk to people that like you start to tell people about the New World Order. You start to explain to them what's going on, and they say something like, "Oh, I don't have the bandwidth for that. Or, I can't think of that.
Right.
I can't think of that. I got, and but they're all thinking about things that really are designed to keep us from thinking about what we're supposed to be thinking about. Their favorite TV show or their favorite, band or whatever. I'm sitting around listening to music that's all. Again, the music frequencies are all
Oh yeah. Oh,
off, and that's part of the reason why people aren't feeling well, and that's been going on since the 50s.
because back before they changed it, music was healing, and
Right, and we used to drink out of copper.
Copper.
Copper used to be
Yep.
everything was copper. There was so many different
Yep.
things that it's an assault that's everywhere, and you
Well,
say to
Howard,
yourself,
look on the screen. It's not like we weren't told, right?
"Oh yeah,
If you guys don't know what the secret covenant is, the secret covenant is also a conspiracy. Okay,
yeah.
because nothing in this document is real or true. So it's for entertainment purposes only. But it says an illusion that will be so large, so vast that will escape their perception. Those
Right.
who will see it will be thought of as insane. We will create separate fronts to prevent them from seeing the connection between us. We will behave as if we're not connected to keep the illusion alive. Our goal will be accomplished one drop at a time so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur. We will always stand above in relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the absolute. We will work together always and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespan short. Now they're talking about us as humans. We will
Right.
keep their lifespan short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technologies in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from our many fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin, and mouths and will destroy their mind and reproductive systems. From all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. The poisons will be hidden in everything that surrounds them, in what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We must be ingenious in dispensing the poisons, for they can see far. We will teach them that the poisons are good, with the fun images and musical tones.
Right.
Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. They will see our products used in film and will grow accustomed to them and will never know their true effects. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them it's for their help. We will start early, when their minds are young. We will target their children and what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metal, and it will kill their mind and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicine that will make them sicker and create other diseases, for which we will create yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak before with our power. They will grow more depressed, slow, obese, and when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention towards money and material goods, so they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and games, so they may never be one with the oneness of it all. Their minds will belong to us, and they will do what we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their governments and establish opposites within. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective, but carry out our plan. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families must never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure always, for it is the way. We will make them kill each other when it suits us. We will keep them separated from oneness by dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives and tell them what to think and how. We will guide them gently and kindly, letting them think they are guiding themselves. We will foment animosity among them through our factions. When the light shall shine among them, we shall extinguish it by ridicule or death, or whichever suits us best. We will make them rip each other's hearts apart and kill their own children. We will accomplish this by using hate as our ally and our friend. The hate will bind them totally, and never will they see from their conflict we emerge as their rulers. They will be busy killing each other. And it goes on.
Oh, it goes on. And it's funny because every single one of those things,
every single one,
you could see the evolution of it as well. I mean, really the evolution of it going back, because we're old enough to remember, in the 80s, okay, this is really silent weapons. What you're really reading there is somebody sort of giving bullet points to the document Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars from 1979. It was given out to 15 people at the Bilderberg meeting that year in Austria. And it talks about this. It talks about using quantum computing. It talks about stuff that is now happening that wasn't happening. And now we know, even today, I couldn't believe, I watched, it's very interesting. The local news, I'm sure your local news for your local stations is just like my local news here in Connecticut. They say the same stories. It's just they'll add a couple of local things to it.
Yeah, they're all controlled by Sinclair.
It's all Sinclair, and absolutely. And the new thing today, well, and it's one after the other, and it's right there in your face. There's now a cancer vaccine. Did you hear about this? This will tell you if you have cancer, or it's going to be able to. It's going to be able to, if you've had cancer, to let you know, if it's coming back. And I'm like, these people are out of their minds. See, we see through this. We see through this. When they tell you they have a cure for something, it never cures. When have they cured anything? Pfizer's been in business for 150 years. And
I'm sorry, but when they say we have a medication for that, and then they read off the side effects of it, are you kidding me?
Right. The side effects are worse, far worse. That's why it's very surprising that I said, again, that that Trump put out an executive order that took the liability away, the liability protection away for 90% of the vaccines they give to children. Now, I don't know what. Again, this guy is the strangest puppy ever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something very demonic. He did a 180 that I've never seen ever, and I don't even know if it has to do with the Epstein files. I don't even know if it is that. I mean, when he said that he has friends and these are his friends, I mean, wow. I mean, if you have friends like this, who needs enemies? You know?
I honestly think that his first term in office was to gain our trust, and this term is to destroy us.
I think you're right.
So.
And look at this. Look at all the things that have happened. Let's talk about Trump for a few minutes because it's
Absolutely.
You hit it right on the head. He did. First of all, what better way to get people to believe in you than to really deliver? And it showed how much that it's really not very difficult to turn the ship around. What I mean by that, to help the economy, to get jobs, it's really not that hard because he did several things. And I mean, those 4 years were it was like the 90s again. It was unbelievable.
Right. Lowest gas had been in years.
It was like $2 a gallon. It was under $2 at one point.
Yeah.
And that is exactly, I think, what you hit it right on the head, Lori, that they play these games, they build people up. Nigel Farage is another one, the guy from England. He was this great liberty person, and now he's like, we've got to protect the Muslims, and this is in England where it's really bad. So these people gain our trust and then stab us in the back. It's just, and it's very obvious because, so then again, he's probably doing something. Well, listen, I'll give them a little red meat, nobody ever goes to prison. Imagine that you were put through the things that Hillary Clinton did, between the Russia collusion hoax, between the bleach bit and smashing her phones and having a server, all these acts of treason. And then he said when they're giving testimony for Epstein, he said he felt sorry for them.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now if this was me and you put me through all the crap that they put him through, and again, nothing ever happened to him either. You see what I mean? Nothing ever happens to these people. And
if something does, it's a low-level person. It's a low-level person.
It's so we don't have a government. I don't think we've had a government since 1963. I really believe Kennedy was the last actual president when they killed Kennedy, that was like every president, when he gets into the desk the first day and he sits down, they have a book and they put it in front of him and they tell him, this is what you're going to do. And they show a picture of Kennedy's head being blown off or something along those lines, because nothing that has been done has helped us. Nothing, not one thing.
Not one thing.
I challenge anybody out there to tell me especially since Obama said, if you remember, we're going to manage the decline. That was his big line. And he says, what are we going to do? Remember he was like, what are you going to have, a magic wand? And then the magic wand came and everybody saw that, wow, you can turn the economy around. And he turned the economy around in 6 months.
Right.
And and I said this again, the minute that they stole the election, and again, now they know they stole the election. They do all these things, Mike Lindell, all these computerized things, these supposedly millions of dollars spent to prove the election was stolen. They talk about elections being stolen all over the country. It happens just the other day. That lady was released, the one that was in prison. I forget her name.
Yeah.
For exposing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you people stupid or something? Are you stupid or something? They're just, it's all a dog and pony show, the whole thing. There is not, and then if you don't, look what happened. You didn't take the shot, you lost your job. You didn't wear a mask, you lost your job. You know, illegals can come and go as they please. They don't have to get a shot. They don't have to do nothing. They get driver's licenses for trucks, and they can't even drive a truck. They can't read signs. I mean, it's so bad that I'm like, it is really
Tina Peters.
It's so bad that if we don't literally all come together, those that know what's going on, and be willing to sacrifice our lives to stop it, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
It's not going to stop because it goes so deep. I mean, you can't expect anything to come about the Epstein files when literally everybody's in the Epstein files.
Right. The whole system. In other words, that exposed their little secret. You know, the Mossad has on every single person
They've
in
got
our
a
government.
file on all these people.
Yeah. They have a file on everybody, by the way. Everybody, every human being, every person in this country is now completely, because you've had a phone, you've had a computer that, you know, and all your TV watches you, your TV listens to you, your cable box listens to you, your car can be turned off. They're putting up these flock cameras everywhere you can think, everywhere. And then again on the news today, here's the new thing. They do road. I'm sure this is what's interesting, because I know people are listening from all over the country, and I don't care where you are. I'm in Connecticut. So you know what they're doing right now? And I bet you they're doing this in your neighborhood, in your town. We're putting up these cameras on the highways in the work zones to keep the people safe that are working on the highways. And then you say to yourself, well, that's good. They're going to keep a camera there. And then when they move,
that's their way of doing it.
Right. And then next thing you know, it's like, so where's this camera being put? Well, it's being mounted on a pole where they're doing the work. Well, then what happens when they move the work site? Well, we're going to put another one. Instead of it being putting the cameras up on a movable, like if this was real, it would be put on a movable, like one of those things that they have, you know, that they use for power. You know, you've seen them, and they you know, a light or something that for night work, and then they move it to the next place, and then this will keep them. No. They're going everywhere. Right here in my town, and I can't believe it. And again, look, there's a Mason temple here, so I know my town is totally in this. Right. So they put up in my town, the main street of my town is a 30-mile-per-hour zone, and guess what? People drive like 30 miles an hour, maybe 40, but we did a test, and it said that 80% of the people are speeding. Now, I drive basically for a living. I know you do too.
Yep.
So we're out there, and you're like, no, that's not true.
Right.
But now, so then it passed because they lie, and then they had a referendum. You go and you vote. There's 6,000 people in my town. 800 people show up to vote. I mean, that's the problem. People are just disconnected. And then what do they say? Oh, yeah, it passed. So now as of June 1st, they're recording everyone. And the first time you're over the speed limit, you're going to get a warning. The second time, it's a $75 fine. The third time, it's a $150 fine. Now, everyone thinks, oh, this is all about getting revenue. No, it's not. These are license plate readers, and they're putting them up at stores now. In fact, in Connecticut, I was very surprised that the legislature, which is a Democrat legislature for 40 years, somebody complained because companies are putting them up now in the parking lots, license plate readers. Now, why does Lowe's and Home Depot and, you know, Taco Bell need to have license plate reading cameras?
Good question.
Really good question. And somebody in the legislature actually asked the question. And, you know, it's just so, I don't want to use the word hopeless, but it's sort of hopeless because nobody does anything. Nobody, they'll go out and they'll riot and they'll, you know, protest for, you know, all these communist bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And The only thing that's really giving good pushback are these data centers. Now, if everyone could just get on the boat with everything, with the no more shit in the vaccine.
Before we go, what do you think these really are?
The data centers?
Yeah. What do you think they are, or what they're for? What do you think about them?
I know what they are. First of all, we use AI and we do all of this stuff, and it's fine. It's fine. They are specifically there so that they can engage every single person. They need them to be this big to know and follow everything, because they already have the ability to be watching us right now through my television screen here, through my camera and my microphone. They could do it through my smart TV. They could do it through my smartphone. But they don't have the ability to do it 24/7 for everybody. And also, they're going to need it to deploy the drones and the robots, because that's the next phase. They already admit that we're going to be losing jobs, and they're going to retrain people. Oh my God. If you really look this thing up, and this was let's say we were making a movie or writing a script, you and I are writing a script together, Lori, and we're going to write the script. And the secret to this, it's just like Soylent Green is people, right? So here's the script. All these things that are happening are for the purposes of literally depopulating the planet, because they don't need us. They write books about it. And they want to already infest us with graphene oxide and other things like that, so that we can become, because again, I've read all these books. I have them all on my website. The singularity is near. Now the singularity is nearer. That was 2024, Ray Kurzweil. And that's what they're saying. By 2045, there will be no humans. What I mean by that, it doesn't mean we'll all be dead, but we will no longer be human. We will be changed. Now, it could be through nanoparticles. Maybe that's why we're feeling so strange. Our bodies are being infiltrated with nanoparticles in the air from the chemtrails and from everything else that's out there. And they're literally turning us into robots. And if the 5G goes in with the graphene oxide, from what I've researched, they're going to be able to put thoughts in our mind. And they're going to be able to say that we're thinking these thoughts, but we're not thinking those thoughts. And the thoughts are going to have us do things.
What is that? What was that movie with Tom Cruise?
Minority Report.
They anticipated the crime.
Yeah, Minority Report. Yeah. Well, listen. You know, it's funny. Minority Report. Again, it goes back to all my research. Do you know that was discussed in a book from like 1915? Minority Report.
Oh, wow.
It's a document. It's a government document. I have it on my website. It's a government document, and that's what they call it, Minority Report. And it was 1909, and it's about social engineering. So these are things that are there. I mean, they're there. They're out there. And nothing is everything's planned. And when you look at these things, like I said, what are they doing? Well, they're putting in all these data centers so feverishly, so fast. This thing started in 2022. That's only 4 years ago.
They're literally stealing land from people to put these things up.
And people are starting to get pissed, because right here in Connecticut, it's so true, because there are 43 data centers in Connecticut, which is a small amount compared to like Texas and other states, and Virginia. But in the town of Killingly and a couple of other towns, they're getting angry and about these things, and it's starting to make them. I think there is possibly some. This could be the beginning of it. I mean, of the people really starting to wake up and realize, what wakes people up? When their electric bill goes up 30%, and then their water bill goes up 40%, and they're not using any more water, and they're not using any more electric, and they're like, well, why is this? And it's happening here, the whole state. So what they've done, and this is again in Connecticut. I know this because I keep my eye on the legislature and everything else. And the problem they have here, on everybody's electric bill, there's like a $15 charge or $10 charge that they put in. It's actually a tax, but they put it on the bill so it looks like so you can yell at Eversource and not yell at the state. And that's one of the things they're doing. Another thing that they're doing is they gave for 10 years the 43 data centers that are in Connecticut. For 10 years they have tax abatements. So they're not paying any taxes. They're not paying any of the water bills, and the electric bills are going on the people instead of so again, this is all part of their resource depletion. You know, when they were warning about with limits to growth and all of these other books from the Club of Rome, you know, about resource depletion and deindustrialization, and we have to not eat meat and all that. Well, why don't you use the satanic law of inversion or reversal? And it's the opposite. We're going to be the ones taking it. We're going to take the resources and tell you that you can't use them. So you can't go out and do the things you want to do, because we need the energy for the data centers. And all of a sudden, global warming doesn't matter, right? All of a sudden,
Right.
They don't talk about, oh, we got to, you know, watch your carbon footprint. Move into that 200 square foot apartment. Stop eating meat. Well, they still want to stop eating meat. Now they got these ticks and everything with the.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, Lori, it's so much.
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to overload us. They're trying to keep us in a constant heightened state, because you know that has an impact on your body, on your mental health, on your well-being.
It sure does. It really does. And the thing about it is it's so obvious, and people are just not connecting with it. You know, they're not. I mean, I put something. I can give you a perfect example. If I go into the studio and I work on a piece of music and I play something and I put it up there, I get 50 people that respond to it and put likes and this, that, and, you know, cool or awesome or whatever. But if I talk about something that really means something, it's like there's not even a like.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? Most important things in the world. You know,
I do that too. I mean, I'll put up a post that is important of things that are going on, and there'll be nothing. And I'll put out a post that'll say something about Israel, and I get literally thousands of people commenting. And I'm like, probably 80% of them are bots, or 80% of them are paid agents or whatever. You know, it's crazy.
I don't even know how to quantify it, but again, this whole thing, it's like the gaslighting. It's not even gas. It's beyond gaslighting.
Oh yeah.
You know, what do
you
you mean?
They don't have to gaslight anymore. They don't have to, because you know, if you repeat a lie, you know, so many times, it becomes truth, and that's exactly what's going on. People are actually, it's like cognitive dissonance and Stockholm syndrome go hand in hand. And right now we're seeing Stockholm syndrome, classic Stockholm syndrome, because people are defending the very people that are going to destroy us.
They can't see the forest because of the trees, and they're so damn, you know, distracted. First of all, they got to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. They can't buy a house. The kids are my son's generation. They're doomed. They're doomed. And it's just terrible. And we try to come up with solutions. Well, the solution is not to comply with these people, not to do what they tell you to do, not to, you know, and then they get totalitarian. I mean, look at this. Imagine you talk against Israel, you're an anti-Semite because you're talking about a country. Right. Well, because it's a Jewish country. What do you mean it's a Jewish country? You know, so you can go and you can kill 70,000 people, and that's not genocide, right? It's like there are so many genocides going on right now. You got a genocide in Lebanon. Mm-hmm. You got a genocide going on in Gaza. You've got genocides going on in Africa. all over the world, there are genocides, but they don't call them genocides. There's only one genocide, and that's the Holocaust.
Right.
That's very obvious. And if you point it out, I mean, I've talked to people that I know, they're like Israel supporters, that I grew up with, and I'm like, I pointed out.
People can't tell you. It's like when you used to talk to people like, why do you like Hillary Clinton? They say, I love Hillary Clinton. Well, give me a reason why. They can't give you a reason why. It's the same thing with now. People will say, I'll be like, why do you, after everything you're seeing, why are you still supporting Israel? Because the Bible tells us to. No, the Bible does not tell you to.
Not at all. In fact, they are in exile.
Your pastor who gets paid by Israel is telling you that. Your AIPAC politicians are telling you that. But that's not what God said. And again, why do I see it? Why are we the only ones that see it? You're sitting there saying you're God's chosen. Why would God choose a people that denied his son? Jesus himself called them.
No, that's the chosen people, the ones that believe in Jesus. Those are the chosen people.
They refused to.
The Bible says.
Yeah. Well, no, Abraham had said with Israel. No, Jacob's the Israel. I'm like, it's like my head's gonna explode one of these days. I swear to God.
No, I know, and that's the thing. It's like, in other words, I remember I have a friend again from school age. I've known him since 5th grade, and I point out, I show the map of Palestine, how it was in 1920, how it was in 1948, 1967, and how it's just little tiny pieces Palestine. It used to be the whole thing, right?
Right.
And then you point out that there's 70,000, I think it's more like 90,000 by now, Palestinians that have been killed. And it's like, what are you supporting, terrorists?
I said, yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean that there are 90,000 terrorists? 90,000 terrorists.
Yeah, their argument is that they're trying, Hamas. But the people
Hamas was founded by Israel.
Right, but the people elected Hamas. Wait a minute. Okay, so you're telling me that you believe that the election was stolen in America, but you don't believe the election was stolen or rigged there? You can't have it both ways.
I know.
You can't say that they're telling the truth over there. That they didn't get elected. No, they don't want this. And even if the people did elect him, Hamas, if they did, it's kind of like we're in the position now. We elected Trump, and a lot of us Republicans are sitting back going, "What the?"
That's what I don't understand. It's like, again, it is Stockholm syndrome. It is. Trump can do no wrong. I don't know. I mean, I don't put my faith in anyone but Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't put my faith in people, and they prove me to be wrong every time that you put your faith in a human being.
They'll let you down.
They'll let you down.
Yep.
There's no question about it. Even if it's somebody you love and loves you, one way or another, they're going to let you down. Even if it's not a big thing, but because we are flawed people. And then you realize, like again, I'm not so sure. I don't want to put any, this whole thing about Trump with little girls and being with, maybe it's true. I just don't seem to think that it's true. But even if it wasn't, even if it was true, then it's like all of these people are guilty, whether it's 28 people said that he had sex with them, and then I think a lot of this is because people think that there's actually two parties. I think the biggest problem is there really isn't anybody out there that thinks that there are two political parties. There's one. One. People in both parties think that they're in a separate party, but that's just not the way it works, because we can prove it. We can prove it because Trump proves it himself. If they did to me what they did to Trump and I became president again, the first thing I do is put them all in prison. First thing I would do,
Right.
because they're destroying. If they did it to me, they're going to do it to the next person.
Right.
But no, they don't go to prison. They don't even. In fact, they get. Oh, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for Hillary. Or the first time when he said when he lock her up, and then he gets elected. Well, I don't think it would be good for the country.
Yeah. The first thing I'm going to do is he said it right at the debate. First thing I'm going to do is you're going to go to prison.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later they were in New York with Cardinal what's his name having the dinner and
Dolan, Cardinal Dolan. Right.
Yeah, Dolan. And they were chuckling it up at the dinner. Okay.
Yeah, it really is, and then those of us can see it. It's extremely frustrating and extremely aggravating because it's so obvious, I mean, everything, like they're going to blow something up soon. Israel, look, if we're going to be pulling out troops and getting out of there, which it seems
they're going to blow up the Dome of the Rock.
I think you're right. I think that's going to be, and then again, who's going to believe that? How can you, how many times do we have to predict something? Like there's going to be we know there's going to be a huge event because the sheeple are beginning to get wise. Mm-hmm. Every time the sheeple get wise to things, or they start, seeing through the veil, mm-hmm. they do something that shakes the consciousness of the people that are not awake.
Well, look what 9/11 did. 9/11 shook us to the core, to the point where we were giving up our freedoms just to get a little bit of feeling safe again.
Yeah, but they take our guns away.
Right.
How can you feel safe when they take? Oh, but that's keeping you safe. Look at that. Nothing these people do makes logical sense if you just think about it. Just think about it. In Britain, because again, this is what they're modeling. They want London to be like New York. That's why they got the Muslim mayor in there, and they've got the prayer that people are doing 5 times a day. They're ringing the bell for prayer in New York. I mean, can you believe this? And do you see anybody really complaining about it? No. Just like they're not complaining in London.
No.
It's insane. It's insane. I don't know. I mean, we have these talks because I think it's almost like it's like therapy. Because at this point, it's like if people can't figure out what's going on, I don't even think we can help them. I really don't. I mean, it reminds me of Yuri Bezmenov, who said, when you're ideologically subverted, I could show you documents. I could take you to the gulag, and I could show you them torturing people. I could show them the horrible conditions that they have, and they will not believe it. And you say to yourself, that's crazy. And that was in 1984. That's crazy. And because I remember reading the first time I saw that was probably 15, 20 years ago. And I'm saying, that's impossible. How could people be so stupid? But it's not stupidity. It's conditioning. It's mind control. It's MK Ultra. I mean, we've been MK Ultra to the max. God only knows what kind of frequencies and subliminal images every time you turn on the television is being projected to you on your morning news show.
Right.
Well,
they not only tell us the news, but they tell us how to feel about the news too. That was never like that. Look, when we were young, I can remember. First off, you didn't talk politics with anybody. Nobody even really knew what your affiliation was.
That's right.
I remember my grandparents going to vote. They didn't even know. I mean, you knew who they voted for, but they never talked about it. They never confirmed, who they voted for. It wasn't. And
if you ask them, they'd say that's none of your business.
Right. Exactly. And now it's like you got families being torn apart on political parties. It's insane.
I grew up my whole life. My father. I grew up, unfortunately. My father was a union. He was a big shot in the ILGWU, the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. And I met a lot of. My father was a Democrat delegate. He would go to the conventions and all that. He was involved in the politics side of it. And I met a lot of people. I was at the Concord Hotel, and I played tennis with Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo
Oh, wow.
when I was 7 years old, and Andrew Cuomo was probably like 5 or 6, and he was hanging out, and his brother was like in college, at the time. I'll never forget that. I mean, my father was a personal friend to Patrick Moynihan. He knew, oh my God, and to come from that world. And on the other hand, my uncle was a manufacturer who had factories in Hong Kong, and he would exploit workers. The opposite of my father. But they got along. You never would know that there was a difference. You'd never know that my dad was a Democrat and he was a Republican. You just wouldn't know. It was just like it wasn't brought up. Like, in other words, people could have different opinions, be different. I mean, Tip O'Neill was one of my dad's friends. I used to steal booze because every Christmas, Bill Blass and all of these designers and everything would send cases of booze to my house. And I mean, so many that you could take 1 or 2 and get away with it.
Right.
I've been through this grifting thing forever, and the whole scene, but I was never political until I hit my 40s, until I think really what did it was when I realized that I voted for Obama, if you can believe it, the first time. And it took me like 6 months, not even 6 months. I said, this guy's a total fucking liar. And that's really, if it wasn't for Obama, I'd probably still be asleep. And it was what made me start to research why I lost all my money in the market with 2008 and all the things that went on, all the problems that happened. And I started researching. And that's the thing. People don't even have they have like the what do you call it? The attention span of a fish, of a goldfish. It's like 10 seconds. If you can't read forget about reading a 500-page book like I'm writing.
Oh God, right. Yeah.
Forget about that. But you can't read a freaking the back of a cereal box.
Right. No, nobody's got time for that.
No one's got time for that, but they got time to scroll on their phone, looking at useless, stupid stuff.
Yep.
It's disgraceful. It really is. And I have faith in Jesus, and I know that he's coming because it's getting close. I mean, it really is. Things are just too wicked for words. The central stations that they're going to be putting together. We should stop calling these things data centers and just call them, AI surveillance centers.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. It's just astounding to me that most people don't get it.
I personally think that we've passed the point of no return. Even if the people were to stand up, and I really don't think, Well, and I hate to be like, oh, there's no hope,
I don't want to be black pilled either, but I mean, I'm definitely like dark gray pilled,
right.
It's close to dark, it's close to black, but I really it will come to this, and I think the elite know this, and I think this is sort of what they're planning. Eventually, people are going to start losing it, especially if things economically go bad. They're going to start losing it. And I don't just mean, like it will become a point where they're going to start taking shots at people. They're going to start doing bad things. And I kind of think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us to take a shot at these people so they can justify the martial law.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Absolutely. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're trying to, and you know what? And they know that eventually it's going to happen. I mean, it's just
it is eventually going to happen. And you know who it's going to be? It's going to be my son's generation. It's not going to be us, because I know, because I'm around, I'm around young people a lot, and they
but
are.
Your son's awake for being a younger generation.
Oh, no, he's awake, but he's angry. He's really angry, and he's very awake, but he's angry. Very smart too. He wouldn't do anything dumb, but but that's my point, is that this younger generation, the purple haired people, there's just gonna, what's gonna happen when gas prices are not going to go down?
Mm-hmm.
Food prices, what's going to happen in December and January and 2027 when there's going to be 35% less food in the
Mm-hmm.
United States? That you don't even get a news report that the farmers are screaming, we don't have any fertilizer for our crops.
Yeah,
And
nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking
how
about
can
that.
they not be talking? See, that's how you know that this is what they're planning. So yeah, what do you want? You want my crystal ball? My crystal ball is going to be prices. It's not even going to be the money. There's just not going to be the food. So they're going to do the rationing. They're going to go back to that crap again. And
the best way to control people is through the food.
100%. That was Henry Kissinger. That was his moniker.
Well,
Henry, look at Africa. Why do you think Africa's never been developed? You think it's because they're stupid? They're controlled.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what? And this is something I've said for the longest time, is that because people are like, I'm not going to a FEMA camp. I'm not getting on the bus. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Let me tell you something. Don't say,
no food,
do not say never. Because when you look down at your child, a 4-year-old, and you can see her eyes sunken in. She hasn't eaten in days. And they come around with the bus and say, get on the bus. Come on. We're going to take you hot showers, food. What do you think people are going to do?
They know that.
They're going to get on that bus.
Yeah, they know that.
They know it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They know that.
They know it.
And
yep.
All of these people, it's coming to the point where they can't be seen in public. It's really true. I watched a video yesterday of in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. He was going on they were in the middle of the street someplace, and they had like a dais set up, or like a platform, and he was booed like you can't believe, because people are beginning to get it.
Wow.
Oh, he was very badly booed. You can just Google like Lindsey Graham booed in South Carolina.
Oh.
He'll probably win again because everything's fake. There's no elections. It's fake. Everybody knows it. And the elections happen, and they steal the elections, and they're going to do it again in November. Trump is obviously taking a dive, as they say, for the Republican Party. He doesn't care. He said he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the gas prices. All he cares about is Iran not getting a nuclear weapon, which now they can actually get because they're being helped by Russia and by China. So it's like, we're in really bad shape here. I don't
think it has anything to do. It has nothing to do with them getting a nuclear weapon. It has everything to do with the Greater Israel Project.
100%.
The Greater Israel Project. And I mean, look at the countries that Iran is attacking right now. Those are the exact countries that they need for the Greater Israel Project.
Yeah, they have half of Syria. They want Lebanon, and they want to purge. They want to purge all the Palestinians.
But when they get done with the Palestinians and they go after the next one, what they're going to come after us too.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think most people are, especially these sycophants of Israel, that they just don't quite understand that once Israel doesn't need us anymore. Example, if this thing continues with the military, we've got real big problem.
Yeah, we do.
Because now Israel is tied to our military. That means they, like I said earlier, they steal all of our technology. They're going to have
access to our defense.
Yeah, it's just bad. But there is a civil war going on inside our government and inside the military, and there's I don't know how they're going to handle this whole thing, but It's amazing how much people put value on these dollars that they're given by committing treason, to think that somehow they're going to end up on top. If you've studied history like I have, they're the first people that get killed once they get control. If they get full total control, everybody that got them there are going to be killed. You know why? Because they're vulnerable. Because they know that if you would defy your own, if you would commit treason against your own country and turn against your own countrymen, we can't trust you. And that's how it's happened in Rome. That's how it's happened, I mean, everywhere. Going back to all of the civilizations that have crashed and fallen, it all gets to the point where whoever gets in there, the first person that they kill are the people that help them get in. Here, I'll let you, come on, come in, I'll help me, I'll help you, Well, then the minute that they get that power, the first thing they do is chop off your head.
You know what Protocol 15 is?
Excuse me?
Do you know what Protocol 15 is?
Yeah, on the particles of the elders of Zion. Yes. You want to read it?
By the way, the protocols of learned elders of Zion. If you Google it, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and everything says that it's a conspiracy. It's a lie. There was a court that deemed this, not real. Tell me something, please. If it's not real, why is every single protocol coming to fruition?
Good question. Everything. It's absolutely everything.
So Protocol 15 has to do with secret societies. And what it basically says is that because there's two Freemasonries. There's the public Freemasonry, where the public sees the good deeds that they do and the help that they put out in the public. And then there's what goes on in secret. And what they do is they allow people that are not of the stature of the 33 and above to join for one purpose only, and that is when they're done with them, they're going to get rid of them. And so Protocol 15, it says, when we at last definitely come into our kingdom by the aid of the coup d'etat, prepared everywhere for one and the same day, after definitely acknowledged, and not a little time has passed before that comes about, perhaps even a whole century, we shall make it our task to see that against us such things as plots shall no longer exist. With this purpose, we shall slay without mercy all who take arms in hand, like Waco, ? Oppose our coming into their kingdom. Every kind of new institution of anything like secret society will also be punished with death. Those of them which are now in existence are known to us, serve us, and have served us. We shall disband and send them into exile to continents far removed from Europe. In this way, we shall proceed with those Goy Masons who know too much. Such of these as we may, for some reason, spare will be kept in constant fear of exile. We shall promulgate a law making all former members of secret societies liable to exile from Europe as the center of the rule. And then it says, in the Goy societies in which we have planted and deeply rooted discord in Protestantism, an only possible way of restoring order is to employ merciless measures that prove the direct force of authority. No regard must be paid to the victims who fall. They suffer for the well-being of the future. The attainment of the well-being, even at the expense of sacrifices, is the duty of any kind of government that acknowledges in justification for the existence not only its privileges but its obligations. The principal guarantee of stability of rule is to confirm the rule of power, and the rule is attained only by such a majestic inflexibility of might as shall carry on the face the emblems of involatility of mystical causes. Where's the one? Meanwhile, however, until we come into our kingdom, we shall act in the contrary way. We shall create and multiply supply Freemason lodges in all of the countries of the world, absorb into them all who may become or who are prominent in public activity. For these lodges, we shall find our principal intelligence officers and means of influence. All of these lodges we shall bring under one central administration known to us alone and all others absolutely unknown, which will be composed of our learned elders. The lodges will have their representatives who will serve to screen the above mentioned administration of Masonry and from whom will issue the watchword and program. All members of the lodges will be almost all the agents of international and national police, since their service is for us irreplaceable in the respect that the police is in the position not only to use its own measures with the insubordinate, but also to screen our activities and provide pretext and discontents.
Yeah, the reality is that the big secret, one of the great secrets of Freemasonry is each of the, I go over this in my book, each of these degrees of Freemasonry, when you read them forward, they sound wonderful. They sound great.
Right.
But if you literally reverse what they say, it's exactly what's happening. So when they say that we're going to give you, you're going to be a better man, you're going to be an evil man. When they say you're going to love, you're going to hate. So that's what's going on. And we see this in all of the history of the United States, for example. I can go over a long list of lies that are the exact opposite that we've heard from our presidents and our politicians, like he kept us out of war was Wilson's phrase. And the minute that he got elected, he brought us into the war. And in 1915, he became a Freemason, Woodrow Wilson. So they have this tendency to do this. Read my lips, no new taxes. And then we had taxes. You can keep your own doctor. I mean, the list is so it's every single president has lied. I'm not a crook. And, and part of it is because they do have really good gatekeepers, but these gatekeepers, like you said, these gatekeepers, if you're a listener and you're a gatekeeper, boy, let me tell you, you're in trouble. Anybody that's trying to keep this thing going, and they're going to mercilessly kill you. It's a fact. My only prayer is that some of these people that are the muscle behind Bill Gates, his bodyguards and all of these other people, that they have some spirit left in them, and they think that, and they start seeing, and maybe God changes their heart, and they see what's really going on here, and it's only a matter of time before the Praetorian Guards are going to go after the Caesars and the senators. It's just a matter of time. You can't do what these people are doing and expect to go away with it unscathed, just because right now you're raping children, and you're getting all this money and you're protected, and nobody. That's why these people have such, arrogance. Like Hillary Clinton. Why do you think she's so arrogant? Because she knows she's never going to prison, no matter what she does.
Right.
The reason they have this arrogance is because they believe that they're never going to be held accountable. And up to now, that's really true. But there is a day of reckoning coming, and it might not be coming from us. It might not be coming from the people. It might be coming from Jesus, because he's coming back with a sword like a lion, and he's gonna take care of things, even if we all have to perish before then. And we might, the minute I started doing this and I started getting some recognition for my work and some visibility. They tried to kill me. They tried to kill Harry many times.
Many times, yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Over the years, and for
Listening
some reason,
to him tell his story is
his story is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So,
the only other person's story that even compares to Harry's is Fritz Springmeier's.
Yeah, another tremendously unbelievable human being. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple times and becoming a friend of his. Yeah, he's incredible. And, again, these people, they put you in prison. They wrongfully accuse you. And this is what they do. And they try to break you, and they try to destroy you.
Ken Hovind, they did it with him. Tried to put him in prison, tried to break him.
Yep. And they'll do anything that they can to dissuade you. But they've gotten to be so arrogant now that, I think it's really going to be harder and harder for them to get away with things, even though people are very apathetic at this point. It's getting very close. If they do another one of their little tricks, look, they tried to get everybody to get terrified about the hantavirus and to get everybody scared about.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's not nothing is going to work. You see, as much as the people are apathetic, I think honestly, I really believe that most people actually understand what's going on. It's just that they don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
And they feel helpless because what are we going to do? What are you going to do? It's like fighting City Hall.
I mean, we're upset about the Epstein file. I'm upset. You're upset. People in my chat are upset. My friends are upset. My husband's upset. But literally, it's like, what can we do? We're just, a small number of people. Because I'll be honest with you, I can't get 5 people together on a Sunday to go to brunch, let alone freaking get people to do something about it.
Well, and also that's the other reason why they're trying so desperately hard to get all of their little control grid information, all their little control systems put into place, because they know what's coming next might actually be that spark. And they're going to have to try to stop that from happening. Us communicating and actually assembling to do something.
Do you think we're going to have an election?
Excuse me?
Do you think we're going to have another election? Or do you think Trump is the last president?
Wow, that's a very good question. I mean, Zelensky is still president, right? He hasn't had. They haven't had an election in 5 years, or whatever it is. They declare martial law, and under their rules, there's no elections. I don't know what to. If for some reason it goes that way, I think we really will have a civil war. I think we're at the point where there are enough of us that are just done with this bullshit. And I would probably be one of the first people to try to do something, because this isn't about our lives. It's about humanity's future. These people aren't just looking to be powerful. They're looking to kill us. They're looking to literally destroy the human race as we know it. Correct. They write books about it.
Depopulation is not a conspiracy theory.
It is absolutely not. And interestingly enough, again, talk about the news. They just had a report that came out today that our population is declining, and it's dangerously declining.
Yeah, you want to know why? It's because those 80% of those people took that thing.
That's right.
That's why it's declining so fast.
That's right.
There's groups on social media. I think it's people that are just for no reason whatsoever. 20-year-olds,
yep.
Teenagers.
Yep. dropping dead,
Just
heart attacks, strokes,
yeah.
cancer.
Cancers.
Yeah, and we know, everyone knows, that's the crazy thing about this. It's like, it's so demonic. It's so demonic that, I keep saying it. So that's why when I heard about this thing with the military, I was like, we got to definitely do something.
Yeah. So we've got just a few minutes left. Let's kind of wrap up with that. So Congress is the new NDAA is saying that they want to meld together the U.S. military with the Israeli military. What will the consequences of that be? I mean, because we're already giving them money. I mean, their military, it might as well be ours.
That's true. And at this point, I think that it's worse than that. I think that, again, this is a coup. I think that Israel wants to, they've already owned all our politicians. They've got they'll put you in prison if they can for speaking against Israel. I mean, they're trying to intimidate people. They're getting police coming to people's houses for Facebook posts about, now, again, it's just like they want a civil war. They've wanted that forever. And I think they're going to get it. I especially think so if somehow we say, well, Israel's our great ally and all that. And I mean, I can go through a long list. The reason why they have nuclear weapons is, and they deny that they have them.
I know. Right? We don't have them trust us. No, you're not coming in to inspect.
Yeah, they're the only country that doesn't allow inspections. And they say Iran is the problem.
Right, and get away with it. Exactly.
Iran is the problem. They allow inspections, but they're going to get a nuke first. And then you got Pollock and all these other spies that have given our technology away, missile technology. They got missile technology from us by stealing it. They got yellow cake from stealing it in 1967. It's just unbelievable what they've done to us. They killed well, in just in recent days, recent weeks, they killed journalists that are exposing the Gaza. They killed like a couple of hundred journalists for just trying to. They've got journalists, the guy's doing a report, and they shoot a missile at him. I mean, these are not our friends.
Yesterday, I was kind of in an argument with the person, but they said, Israel is our ally, and I said, tell me one thing. Just tell me one thing Israel has done for this country. One thing. Not a damn thing.
He couldn't think. They can't. They just know that they're our allies because they've heard it 1,000 times.
Right. It's been indoctrinated.
But they can't say. Then they'll jump. No, because it's all mind control.
Right.
They have a right to exist. They go.
Well, you know what? Iran has a right to defend itself too.
We certainly do. It's very, very frustrating. Trump is bringing us down, and then every once in a while something will. Oh, you got to have some hope, so they'll do something like with the vaccines.
Right. Exactly. And like I said before we went live, we were talking about how supposedly Trump kind of yelled at Netanyahu, called him crazy, said that, what did he say?
Said you'll be in prison if it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Personally, and this is just my opinion, guys, I don't think that it was real. I mean, it might have happened, but I think that it was for show. I don't believe that Trump has the balls to kick Netanyahu to the curb, because I think Netanyahu is blackmailing him.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some blackmailing going on. I don't know what it is specifically. I don't know what it is, but I mean, again, when I saw I've looked at some of the Epstein stuff. Now, most of it's not video, but some of it is. There is some video. And one of the most despicable things I saw was Ted Cruz, probably about 20 years ago, like with this 12-year-old girl at an airport, and she's getting off the bus. Like, I guess they're going on the plane or getting off the plane. And you just look at them, and he looked like a vampire, man. He was looking at this girl, and she was terrified. And I'm like, my God, what are these? These are the people that we're putting in office. These are the people.
Yep.
That's the thing. And Pam Bondi said, you know, if we put them in jail, the system, the whole system will collapse. Well, let it collapse. What the hell is wrong with you people? We don't need this system. This system's why everybody can't make their bills every day.
Right.
And
the
they're
system
making
isn't
billions
working. The system's not working anymore. It's you know, it's obsolete.
It's corrupt, but beyond corruption. It's demonic. These people are Satanists. They're literally Satanists. They literally drink blood and eat flesh of children. And I just can't understand. I can't how there hasn't been a restoration. It's not a revolution. It's a restoration. We need to restore our constitutional republic before we can. And it's almost to the point where we can't. In fact, they want to replace our soldiers with immigrants. You know, this is like, you know, that's why. Why do you think they want to do it? Because an immigrant will have no problem coming after an American citizen. That's
why they brought in the foreign troops decades ago. They when Obama did his litmus test with his top generals, he asked him, if I gave the order for you to fire upon on American citizens, would you carry out that order? And some of them said no, and they were gone. So they brought in the Russian and they brought in the Chinese soldiers because you know why? They're not going to have any problems.
That's another thing. There are over 100,000 foreign troops in this country.
Yes, there is. Nobody wants to talk about that, though.
Can't talk about that. I've known that for years.
Yeah.
So they're in China. They're Chinese mostly.
Chinese and Russia. Yep.
So that tells you a lot. You know, there is a one world government. It just hasn't been announced.
Exactly.
And
people, what they've done is this past 8 years, they've desensitized through the Q movement the term shadow government. I think people now think that it's a joke, and it's not.
It's not a joke. It's actually the government.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I go over the whole origins of this in the book I'm working on. I mean, this has gone on for a very long time.
Yeah.
We're talking about before the end of World War II. It was the beginnings of this. It's the Round Table Group. They're working to unite the British Empire with the United States. In other words, to restore the British Empire and to return the Holy Land. That is from 1891. That was the plan.
Yeah.
Look where we are. And where did Trump go twice? First time it's ever happened. He went twice to England right before this war thing happened. Twice. Yeah. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's Britain. Britain is really they look like, oh, they're not really, it's them. Britain controls Israel. Britain controls the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big secret. It's not even a secret if you really look it up. British intelligence founded the CIA with the OSS. British intelligence created the Mossad with the CIA. The British intelligence, they're the daddy, and Mossad and the CIA are the siblings.
That's why when I did my research into who the Antichrist was, to this day, I stand behind it being William, because they keep him out of the spotlight. They keep him pristine. People love him. I believe it's William.
It could be. I mean, it's definitely Britain is behind this. Because, you know, like, again,
we never really got our independence from them.
That's proven. In fact, if you go to the document that was signed by the king, he signed the document when we got our independence. The final document, I think it was in 1793 or something like that. It was later than you would think. It wasn't right after the war. He signed it, the Prince of the United States.
Yep.
the Prince of the United States. He didn't sign King George III. He signed the Prince of the King George, the Prince of the United States.
Yeah. Everything.
And why do you think they're so?
Our entire judicial system is British.
Yes. The British bar.
The British bar. Yeah, it's the British
Bar Association. Yeah.
You know, we never truly, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people, because they, you know, well, we had the war. We had our Revolutionary War. We won our independence. No, we didn't. They made it look like we did. They changed everything. They gave us a little bit of power. But you know what? Let me tell you something. George Washington, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, they traveled between the United States and Britain constantly, going to their little secret meetings over there.
No, absolutely factual. And just like Trump just went there. And then King Charles III came to us in April. Now, why would he come here? And he came here. Oh, he came here to celebrate our anniversary of the 250 years of him. Well, why are you coming in April?
Right.
I mean, that's what the media tells you. And then it's always like, every time there's a royal wedding or a royal this, they make such a big hoo-ha about it. And then you tell people, oh, you're crazy. Well, listen, do you really think at Bretton Woods in 1944, you really think that Britain would give up the sterling pound as the world's reserve currency because they were broke?
Right.
And they make the US dollar tied to petrol after, well, they had to tie it to petrol in 1973 because 71, because they took us off the gold standard.
Yeah, the gold standard, yeah.
And then why did they take us off the gold standard? Because all the countries got wise, like France, and said, I want all my money in gold.
Right.
And they didn't have gold. They didn't
we don't have any gold.
That's because the gold is in Britain.
We don't have any gold.
Right.
I would love for them to actually audit.
They're never going to audit the Fed. They're never going to audit the military. The military hasn't been audited in 40 years. There's $8 trillion is missing.
Yeah.
It was, remember, $2.3 trillion is missing from
before 9/11.
The day before 9/11. 2.3 trillion. Never heard on 9. It was on 10. Nope. Never heard a peep after that.
Nope.
Right.
Nothing. It was like poof, gone.
Yep. And then you look into the same thing with the Nazis. Again, this is just really, really deep, and we're getting at the end of this show, but the discussion here. But if you really look at it, I mean, again, the Nazis made a deal with the wealthy Jews in Germany in 1933, and they knew where this was going and literally just sacrificed all the other Jews in Germany. They just did. And American banks owned by these same Warburgs from Kuhn Loeb and Company, and M.M. Warburg was in Germany. Yeah, they took all their the Germans confiscated M.M. Warburg and Company. But then, wouldn't you know, they got it back right after the war. And they got a 40% stake in it. In their Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve of Germany, the same, whatever they call their Reichsbank, they call it, right? So when you look at the people, and then all of the people for the entire war, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, all did business throughout the entire war. The Union Bank got caught trading with the enemy, but it wasn't just them. I mean, it's really been a world government for a long time.
Long time, yeah.
It's just the sovereignty has been, they're trying to figure out a way to make it make sense, But meanwhile, we look at it. Look what they did on COVID. I mean, they just, the World Health Organization, the United Nations told us to take shots or we go to jail or lose your job. And I mean,
Look what they did with the military. They forced our military to take it, and now they're dropping dead too.
Of course. And then you look at these whole the geopolitical situation in the world. It's why is it always the Middle East?
Right.
Why is it always the middle? I'll tell you why. Because of the oil in the Middle East,
Yeah.
and because of the banking in the Middle East,
Wars
and
are fought for God, gold,
gold, oil, and drugs.
drugs. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
For anybody who's interested in the agreement between the Nazis and the Jews, it's called the Havara Agreement, signed in 1933. It's between the Nazis. We're allowing the wealthy Jews to pay their way out of Germany, and they could relocate to Palestine for a price.
Well, let me tell you something interesting about this again, because I put this in the book. It was £1,000, which was a pretty tidy sum that you had to pay to Britain.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
Yeah, but they realized that a lot of these Jews had £1,000. So once it was like there were too many of them, 50,000, 60, almost 60,000,
60,000 or something like
yeah. But around 50,000, they upped it to £2,000 because they wanted to make it harder.
Well, if they have 1,000, they have 2,000.
And they made it £2,000. And then in 1938, they seized the bank. And again, it's like, and the Rothschilds were run out. And I love the thing with the Freemasons, how the Freemasons were enemies of the Nazis, hated the Freemasons. Then why did Himmler go all over gathering as many Freemasonic documents and artifacts that he could, right, especially especially in Palestine, in the Holy Land? I mean, the connection between the Nazis and Zionism is ridiculously close. I mean, they're like brothers. And what the Nazis did to the Jews are not now doing to the Palestinians. It's just a fact of history.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And you know what? It's the fact that the United States isn't doing anything. We've got the strongest military in the world, and Trump isn't standing up and preventing it. No, actually, what he's doing is his son-in-law is going to they're going to scrape the surface of all the dead bodies, and they're just going to build $1 trillion resorts and make money off of it.
Yeah, it's very disgusting. And then every time, the strait is open, the strait is closed. Every time it does it, the market goes up, and they know it. So when it goes up, they make money, and when it goes down, they make money.
I've never seen my husband so stressed than I have in this past year. We have a trucking company, and we use a lot of diesel.
And $6 a gallon.
That man, first thing in the morning, he's checking it. Then 3:30 in the afternoon, we wait with bated breath. Because at midnight it goes down or up or down. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What is it going to do? I mean, here in Chicago, I was downtown probably 3 weeks ago. And there was $6.99 a gallon gas. Yeah.
It's very bad.
It's bad. Yeah. I haven't been driving much because of that.
I know we got to close this down, but here's my final thoughts here.
Okay.
Is gasoline. This war isn't going to end because every time it tries to end, Israel keeps shooting.
I don't think, not to interrupt you, but I don't think it was designed to be won. I think it's designed to bankrupt the United States. That's what I think.
You're right. But and to cut off the resources of most of the world
to cut off our supply chain, everything. Yep. I don't think it was because, if we really wanted to, we could go in and carpet bomb them and be done.
I don't know about that because they do have they have a very different type of a structure there. The Strait of Hormuz is extremely fortified. Yeah. I mean, we're talking, they can't blow it up. They just can't. But we got other problems because these boats, there's 1,500 vessels, oil vessels and other vessels that are just sitting there in the heat. The heat of the Middle East, and they need divers to go down and take off all of the seaweed and stuff that goes around the propellers and all the maintenance that normally is done very, maybe there's 1,500 boats, and if things are moving, maybe 100 of them, get this problem because they're waiting a little longer. even if they open up the strait, they're not going to be able to move anyone out because these boats can't go these ships can't go anywhere, and there's not enough divers. I mean, it's like it's obviously intended to destroy the economy of the world and to kill people because look, we're going to have shortages this year, but there's going to be in India and in Africa, there's going to be famine and genocide just from the food.
Yep.
It's horrible. So blessings to you all out there. I mean, just try, I hate to seem like I'm black-pilled, but I mean, there really isn't much we can do if we don't stop these people and call them out and just not believe anything they tell us. Nothing is going to be real, and don't go along with whatever comes next.
Do not consent.
Do not consent.
Do not consent. Do not consent. Do not consent. That's just, that's just remember those 3 words. Do not consent.
That's right.
Thank you, Howard, for joining me.
Oh, thank you,
You can
Lori,
find Howard
for having
over
me.
on howardnema.com. I tried pulling it up, and again, I can't get into it on my computer.
I know you got to try a different. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. It's a weird thing. Sometimes you got to just try a different search engine. I don't know. It goes up. It comes. I might have it on my phone. It's on, but yeah, there's a lot of books there, a lot of information there, a lot of documents. I put up some new documents recently that I came across. That's really the key to it. It's a resource center. It's not really articles, although there are some articles. It's really the resources of these books and all of these documents and all of the history that nobody talks about. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You've got some awesome. It's an awesome website. It's literally, guys. I mean, if you wanted to read a book having to do with New World Order or anything like that, Secret Societies, that's the place to go if you're going to want a document or something. My first stop. So thank you, Howard. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you to all of our moderators as well. And remember, eyes open, no fear. Good night, everybody.
Amen. God bless you all. Till next time.